like to show you another method that you might find useful when the need arises. So let's just look at this method on maybe more of a simple problem to begin with, so that we might be able to use it when the time does come up. This idea is called factor by grouping, but factor by grouping a trinomial. So the first thing that you want to do when you need to use this method is you want to find out all the factors of a times c. Step one, all the factors of a times c. And since a times c is a negative 12, all the factors are 1 and negative 12, negative 1 and positive 12, 4 and 3, 4 and negative 3, and 6 and 2s. All right, so there's all the factors that make a negative 12. And I want to choose all those factors that produce this middle term, which is a negative 1. And I see that it's this term right there. So step two, all the factors of a times c that produces the sum or produces the coefficient of b, which is a negative 1. All right, doesn't sound too different than what we've been doing. Here's where it changes a little bit. Now I'm going to rewrite b as the sum or difference of those two terms. So that means I'm going to rewrite it as 2x minus 2x squared minus 4x plus 3x minus 6. All right, watch what I did here with orange. I was focusing on rewriting that term. And however I rewrite it, it has to also equal negative x. And so I rewrote it as this particular factor right there. So negative x can also be written as plus 4x minus 3x. Okay, why in the world? Why make things more complicated here, Willie? Yeah, trying to make you cry. Well, where we're going to go from here now is now it's written in a form that might be able to be factored by grouping. And if we remember how to do that, we take the first two terms and the second two terms, make sure that there is a plus in the middle in addition, and now I'm going to factor just this term. So I can factor, I got a 2x, and what's left is an x minus a 2. And then I factored this term out. What can be factored in both of them? A 3. And what's left is an x minus a 2. Notice that my two terms, one term is there, one term is there. Can I find a greatest common factor between those two terms? I can. It's an x minus 2, so I can factor that out. X minus 2. And then I'm left with is 2x plus a 3. And so that problem that I started with is now factored completely. I just used a different method called grouping. And it's going to be a method that you may find useful in certain circumstances. So I want to practice that. Even though right now it seems like we're adding an extra step. That's true, but this is for practice so that when we find the problem where grouping is the best solution, you know how to do it. And trust me, it's going to take a few to get the hang of this because it just feels different. And I get that. But that's what practice is for.